What is up, everyone? Let me just go ahead and say, as much as I really don't want to acknowledge celebrity deaths because it's easy to kind of say, yeah, but what about X and O? I just want to go ahead and just take this time to point out that to everybody who has lost their lives this past week, I just want nothing but, peace for their families. Because whether it was a mass shooting at a club where people just wanted to dance at, or old age, or suicide, death is always. I can't stress enough exactly how stressful death is to deal with, man. Like, it's weird. Like, it's one of those things that's just inevitable. It's just one of those things that happens all the time, and you just never really get used to it. Death is like this dreaded thing. It's a great unknown that we're emotionally connected to. And for some, it's a joy motivated by the hope and like the physical separation that leads to a much better aesthetic one. For others, it's a permanent disconnection from like someone that they're just genuinely used to being around and seeing physically. And for others, it's just a creative outlet, you know, because you don't know, you try to find ways to explain the unknown. For me, it's questionable. And I don't handle death well. Like if I'm connected to you, like if we known each other, like if you're my friend and you or somebody, so you're my friend or somebody who I was amicably connected to in some fashion, I don't handle death well. I try my best to like not acknowledge the death. One of the big reasons right now why I'm not watching Black Panther is because I haven't seen Black Panther yet, but multitude of reasons. One, the movie theater is probably still a little crowded. Two, I don't have the money. And three, I'm just not ready to say goodbye to Chadwick Boseman just yet. And we all know that the Black Panther film, the sequel, is a heartfelt and solemn goodbye to Chadwick Boseman. And I went from not knowing who the man was, even though he was James Brown, he was Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson, Black Panther, among many others. I went from not knowing who that person was to just hoping that his family is okay and finding peace. That's the thing about TV that like I mentioned in my podcast too is like it's like you I'm sorry. Let me do this again. The fact is that like it's really easy to forget someone. I mean, it's really easy to like get connected to somebody that you watched on television, and you watch TV and you see an actor or like for me when I was a kid and I used to watch Power Rangers. Three people stuck out to me. One, Billy, because he wore glasses. Two, Zach, because he was black and he had my name. It was cool seeing my name on TV, albeit misspelled, but I was like, that's me. When you're a little kid, that's what you do. And the third person was Tommy. And the big reason why was Tommy had that long hair, I just thought that was so cool. I mean, the show was cool. Every character was cool. But those characters specifically stuck out to me because I felt like I could see myself in both Zach and Billy because Billy wore glasses and Zach was black. But I always thought that Tommy was cool because he wore the long hair. And I don't want this to come across as a video that sounds like, oh, you're just trying to, make your video big because of Jason David Frank. That's not what this is. As a matter of fact, this is about suicide. Yeah, suicide is a very tough discussion to have. It's a very is it, the act in itself is so controversial and so tragic and so painful that even the word can get a reaction out of people, out of websites, out of just entities, you know. But the big thing is that like we don't talk enough about what motivates the suicide, what happens, like nobody just wakes up in the morning and says, I feel like killing myself. Nobody does that. I don't know anyone who does that except me. Let me be open with you guys here for a second. I have really bad depression. I think I've said this multiple times before. I have remarkably really bad consistent depression. I don't feel like it's gonna go away anytime soon. I'd like to think that it's gonna get better, but I don't see it going away completely. It feels like it's a chronic thing, and so I keep myself busy. I keep myself mentally prepared and stuff like that. I try to keep myself I keep myself jogging mentally to just sort of like keep my head away from that dark place. Because if I go into that dark place, then the thoughts come back. And that's all it takes. And it's really easy to go back to that dark place, Sometimes like being lazy, something traumatic has to happen maybe. Like I know that if I hurt myself, if I injure myself, like one of my big goals right now is to become a professional wrestler. That's the big one. It actually feels good to say that out loud. I'm going to become a professional wrestler soon. And Lord knows, if I were to get hurt, like break my arm, break my leg or something, that would crush me. So I have to prepare myself for the possibility of that happening. And just so I could like just say, okay, what do I do to make myself feel less crushed if I get hurt? That's something to think about. Motivation, like there's multiple ways to combat mental problems, mental disorders, mental issues. There's multiple ways to do that. There's multiple ways to challenge trauma. The only problem is that oftentimes it don't always work. Like I'm not gonna say it doesn't always work, but it's too easy to just say, well, don't be sad anymore. Do what I do. It works. It might not work for me. It's very easy to forget that everybody is different, and sometimes it's even easier to forget that the people that we see on television are people. They're human. They do, like, honestly, I feel like everybody in the country has the capabilities of becoming a spectacular actor. I truly do believe that, and I believe that because it's not hard. Because every medium hasn't been like practiced yet. We're just now starting to get used to seeing diversity in feature-length films. We're just now starting to get used to seeing, women and black people and deafness, and we're starting to see these things slowly become, parts of a bigger story. So with that being said, anybody could be a good actor. It's just a matter of simply what story needs your skills in it. And the reason why I point that out is because with everybody being an actor, everybody has their own problems that come with them. And everybody has, and like, it's a difference between having problems when you're by yourself and you're just sort of like, you're holding to the ground, you make a mistake, it's not going to be headline news in a week, It's easy for that to not be the case, and then you become a celebrity, and all of a sudden you're eating a donut. you just go to a place and you're eating a donut, and all of a sudden, we got paparazzi like fatty boom blatty is starting to get a donut. Stuff like that can be triggering. I actually almost didn't do a video blog today. I was gonna like probably just take a bye week because I didn't think I was gonna be emotionally prepared for it. But here I am. But it's different when it's like it's different when it's your actual childhood. Like I wasn't around, like I wasn't like I remember being a kid and Power Rangers was like the first show that I saw. And it was like literally the first show that I saw. I was in daycare. We just got done having a whole day, getting ready for my mom to come pick me up from daycare. And they had a TV on Fox Kids and Power Rangers was on. And I remember just like, I didn't know what was going on. I was a child, but I just knew that I was interested in it. I just knew that this was something I thought was cool. Like, what's going to happen next? What's going on? And so you can only imagine how weird, how surreal it was to go to MechaCon and see them in person. See Walter Jones and Jason David Frank and Steve Cardenas and Karen Ashley. It was very brief. I met Jason David Frank very briefly. It wasn't like a. It wasn't even like a. I don't really like. I don't really like doing autographs or anything like that. If the only thing I would probably want to do is get a picture, but I wasn't gonna get a picture. If you saw how big that line was, I was gonna get a picture, but I did get a chance to hug Karen Ashley, yay, and David Yost. Mental health is a very stressful thing to deal with. It's complicated. It's it's easily ignored. It's easily tampered with. There's a lot that goes into what it is and how to combat it, or not even combat it, how to sort of handle it in a way that is helpful. And I just really feel like at some point, this should be that thing that motivates people to do it. I honestly didn't think I was going to be this affected by it. I'll cut it off here. Love and peace, y'all. Be safe.